full,
I
right,
could see the
Glenn?
loading noise. Yes,
Okay. Let me just make
unless
sure.
you're cutting multiple episodes together.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to episode 4 of the Friendly Skies podcast. I have with me Glenn Morris
Hello.
and Cullen McManus.
Hi.
We're going to fly into Hurricane Laura. And it looks like it's Hurricane Laura right now. We're near it in Missouri. How you guys?
His idea, not mine.
Yeah. So,
So
Colin,
this
is Colin's first foray into Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I'm very excited.
No, I'm not.
I mean, this is the first time I'll probably see weather in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh, you're gonna see a lot of weather right now.
We've had 3 sunny days so far, and I know people like the way that weather. Yeah, see the windows are already raining up. Where are we starting from right now?
We are starting from so as you can see, we're going west. So we're gonna hit the hurricane directly, just west of us. We're in Piedmont Airfield in Missouri. I don't know. We're in like the southeast portion of Missouri right now.
Everyone's signed their wills.
Jesus Christ, this game actually looks really good.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna look
Yeah,
even
I
better
mean,
on
it
your
would
computer.
look even better if we.
It wasn't running on a calculator like Matt's computer.
Well, I mean, no. It's like even if Matt put all of his money into a new rig, this is the crisis of.
Yeah, I was reading
2020.
it. Basically, playing it in 4K is like unplayable. You get like 10 frames a second.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you'll see some of that. I'm sure flying into a hurricane.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a start. It's a start. I mean, I watched a video briefly this morning actually, which is my first non-podcast related look at the game, and it looked better. I think so. Somebody out there who's making videos has some insane capabilities.
Well, we are definitely in real-time weather, real-time players right now, and I could definitely tell that we're definitely
Yeah, look at this.
there's storm weather somewhere.
And there's going to be a lot more other players, I would think.
I thought so. I saw like 1 or 2. I would figure
Because
there's going to be a lot more.
I've heard like a lot of people basically had the same idea. They want to go straight into the eye of the storm. So
Right.
this is like an MMO event.
Yeah, this is
Everyone's-
pretty interesting.
Everyone's going straight for it. It is. I mean, I wouldn't play the game, but
Well,
from a curiosity perspective, yeah. Especially because I didn't realize it'd been 14 years since the last one of these of the
been a long
official series came out.
right. It's been a long time.
Matt,
Well, Colin,
can you kill hookers in this one like GTA?
I wish, Colin, but that's what you have GTA's amazing flight mechanics that you fly across the map in 2 seconds for.
So all the like flight times are actually like real in this.
I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
can adjust it. You can adjust it though, right?
Yeah, you can expedite flight times too, right? Because I saw some video or like some article on some guy who did like a 16-hour flight or some shit in like real time on Microsoft Flight Sim
Yeah.
While flying an airplane.
while flying.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. We're definitely flying. So we're flying over there. So I feel like that's that looks like where the storm is, and this is definitely looks like where the storm is not. But we're flying into the storm.
Have you flown over your house yet, Matt?
I have actually. It's pretty accurate, dude.
No.
Yeah.
It depends on like how good the satellite data is for wherever you're flying over. So you get a range of quality in this game.
Right.
We've seen some stuff that looks absolutely terrible,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably because we weren't, flying over Boston or something like that. Whereas if you're looking at a major city, yeah, you can find every little.
So
detail.
they've pretty much mapped out the entire planet for this game.
Well, they didn't map it. They
used AI.
used Bing Maps.
Bing Maps, really?
We're
Yeah,
in trouble
but-
if they use Bing Maps.
You're telling
they-
me Bing was
yeah.
good for something?
They also use Bing for Euro Truck Simulator and presumably American Truck Simulator.
I know. Colin, what are your feelings about Truck Simulator? Because you've made fun of me about that in the past.
I mean, I don't really play simulators, dude. I don't understand it. Like, especially, I mean, flight simulators in general. Like, one aspect of flight simulators is learning, the technical aspects of operating a plane, which, sure, that's interesting and everything like that. But it's like, then you have to actually fly and do shit. Like, and it's that middle ground besides taking off and landing where it's just like, why the fuck would you want to simulate this? You're literally not doing anything. You're just in the sky.
Yeah, it's just about the learning aspect, I guess. I mean, it's definitely a acquired taste for sure.
Well, I think
mean-
truck simulator, similarly, like anybody who's been on a long drive knows that, once you get on that long highway, it's just trees and then the occasional truck stop.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing, basically.
But in terms of like learning how to play, I think they recognize that. They recognize that they have a high barrier of entry. So I mean, from what I understand, maybe they had this in the past too, but there's a lot of settings tweaks that you can make so that you can kind of ease into that stuff where if you just want to fly a plane, you can just fly a plane. You're not going to have to play for a month before you successfully like take off and land a plane.
It's not that hard to fly a plane, though.
But like in general, have you done it?
Of course, man.
Ever?
Piece of cake.
Yeah, he's doing it right now, see?
Yeah. I'm flying into a hurricane, bro. How dare you?
I mean, when I was younger, I played... Do you remember Apache Havoc games?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those, like, Apache helicopter flight sims. Like, those were interesting because they're combat flight sims. It's like a commercial airline or a Cessna. Like, it's just, to me, it's like, why the fuck would you be interested in doing that?
I think Matt's probably the first person who turned me on to A10 Cuba.
Oh, dude, that game was amazing.
But there's another one. IL-2 Sturmovik was another good one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's...
Those were those were interesting games because like you had like objectives in them. Like it was a combat simulator. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to LaGuardia now.
Well,
Different experience.
DC, yeah, there's some really good ones now. DCS is a really good combat sim. I know what you're saying. It has more of a purpose. Right.
Yeah. So
from a-
can you explain as the person who's
I
streaming this?
I don't
like,
I don't play these games, but I'm going to defend it right now. I'm going to say that, yeah, as somebody who plays video games, this is was not high up on my list of things that I want to buy and play. But how much time have I spent like screwing around in Google Maps, like clicking the button to drive down the street and see all the things that I recognize, or just like do an isometric, like a bird's eye view of the city.
Right.
And look around it, and it's almost like being a tourist. You can't afford to fly to Portugal, but you want to see what it's like not just from the movies or not just from Google Images, but actually be able to control moving around the city and checking everything out. And this game, yeah, there are like the ability to fly commercial airliners is there, right? But you can also just take like a little plane and just like fly around a city too. And see all the little details.
Yeah, well, this is definitely a little bit more interesting because it's mapped by Bing, which is now a little bit more now disappoints me a little bit more that you said that, but
okay, so like your argument is the appeal of this is strictly the scenery and the nostalgia of recognizing places that you may have been or you live or places you want to go to.
As a spectator, that's what I would say, but I'm not the one flying the plane.
I think as a spectator, I think we're all going to die because I could definitely tell we're definitely flying into something right now.
Yeah. Well, I thought we'd have more time to talk, but it's been nice, fellas. nice knowing you.
So
Well,
yeah, what happens when you crash your plane, Matt?
nothing. It's just black. They don't.
It goes
really
from
simulate
gray to
that.
black. That's
So they have to like fish through the wreckage for your body and like
Oh no, there's a whole procedure. They got to
Yeah.
recover the box. and
Yeah, do they have to,
analyze the
like-
data and-
is there going to be a court case over it?
Listen, you guys don't
Or
worry
probably a
about.
class action lawsuit.
Listen, don't worry about the flight right now. You're gonna be fine. I do want to talk to Cullen about how he feels about the upcoming 30 series that is about to be released next month, I think.
Very excited. September 1st is actually going to be the Nvidia press event where they're going to be discussing the next RTX series. Honestly, I mean, it's all speculation right now. There's only a couple things that have been confirmed, you know, like 12 pin connectors and things like that.
Well, they
and,
said the 3080, no, the 3090 Ti is definitely not going to fit in anyone's computer.
Yeah, I saw some leaked screenshots of it, and that's the one that I'm interested in buying, because I honestly don't give a shit about buying cards with similar specs as the one that I have. I use a 2080 Ti right now, and it
You have
looks
two of
like
them.
I had two of them. I sold one of them.
Yeah, that's a good call.
It looks like some of the specs on the more mid-range models are very similar to what is currently being used with the 2000 series. So it looks like the real quantum leap is going to be made with the Titan series and the 3090, which all the names are tentative. It's all speculation.
But I thought that they said that the 3090 is going to be the Titan, basically. There's no Titan version.
I don't know, man. I doubt that, because Nvidia makes a lot of money off Titan cards. I don't see why they wouldn't. They know they can sell those cards to people that are willing to spend the money on them. I don't see why they wouldn't make another Titan series. I made a Titan RTX series.
Right.
I don't see why they wouldn't make.
They really sell those things?
Yeah, I bought two of them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, a little while ago. I had two of the old Maxwell cards. And they were great. This is kind of before SLI got the kibosh. That's why I sold my second RTX card, because it just doesn't make sense, you know.
SLI was always a little shady. I mean, there was definitely a performance boost. Like with the 9800s, I remember that was an actual difference.
There was definitely a heyday for SLI, and I don't think that day exists anymore, which is unfortunate, because you can't really justify your investment in, especially at the price enthusiast cards are becoming now. It's like standard to be $1,400 plus for an enthusiast card, and it's a majority of the engines. DirectX 12 Unreal Engine doesn't support it. DirectX 12 doesn't support it. So basically, you're ruling out every game that uses DirectX 12 automatically.
Right.
So your only chance in hell for it being supported is using an older API like DirectX 11, but a lot of people aren't really programming games in DirectX 11 anymore. So,
do you know about the Vulkan API or Metal API?
Vulkan, I am not sure about its compatibility. I know Red Dead Redemption used Vulkan, and it actually supported SLI.
Well, I'm just saying in general, because, like, speaking of another flight sim, X-Plane got switched over to Vulkan, and it runs fantastic. So
yeah, Vulkan is a very nice API. No Man's Sky also went over to Vulkan as well.
Oh, when did that go? Because it was running on crap for the longest time.
A little while. Well, it was using OpenGL before.
Oh, Jesus.
I believe No Man's Sky transitioned to Vulkan a year ago or so, and it runs a hell of a lot better now.
Yeah, I saw that game in a museum.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that one in Monument Valley was in a museum before No Man's Sky actually came out. So the hype on that thing was so major that they were already putting it in museums as like amazing accomplishments of humanity.
Really?
Before release. Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
I was in London. It's their museum of contemporary art or contemporary technology.
I wonder if the launch of it, they were like, you know what, we're gonna pull this out of the museum because the launch was so terrible.
It's probably still there. They don't even know.
Yeah.
They don't even know what happened with it.
It's funny because, I mean, I think the only real achievement No Man's Sky has is its magnitude. You know, it's like obviously you could spend a lifetime trying to explore all the different solar systems and you'd never even get to do it. But there's other games out there. I believe Elite Dangerous is the Milky Way system. It's like a 1-to-1 ratio, like scale version of the fucking Milky Way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, too bad there's nothing to do in it, but yeah.
yeah.
Still,
Yeah, it's pretty boring, unfortunately.
Matt, have you played Star Citizen at all?
I have not.
Missing out, dude.
I
Star
know.
Citizen is actually a lot of fun. It's a big tech demo basically right now. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot to see and a lot of cool shit to see, and you know they're working on providing more content for it. But since I've had Star Citizens for like a couple of years now, and it's definitely made huge improvements over previous iterations where it was literally nothing more than a tech demo.
But did they go
there-
beyond like the first? Like the problem I had with it is that they had like one system.
Yeah, they have multiple systems.
Now they have multiple
Yeah.
systems. They do.
Yeah, the problem is like traveling between them. The time is like so fucking enormous. It took me like 20 minutes once to go from like one point to another, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, you know, you're quantum leaping. It's like, or at least the illusion of quantum leaping. It's like I thought it'd be a little faster than this, but evidently it's
Well,
not.
Elite Dangerous had the same thing where, like, yeah, you would go through wormholes from system to galaxy or whatever, but like going within the system, it took forever.
Yeah, I don't really
Even in hyper whatever drive.
That's where the game kind of like lost me. I was like, people are like, what do you like? Do you even sit at your computer during this time, or do you just set a waypoint and like autopilot your way there and then go watch a show?
Right.
Because like, who's sitting at their computer while it's just traveling towards a waypoint?
Right.
I
With-
would. I would. I don't play that game, but I like chill out games sometimes when you're like just gradually going from one place to another. I actually had this dream once that I never actually did, but I thought like, what if I did that? What if I was the guy who did this? Where I would keep the walk button on for the entirety of my World of Warcraft life, and I would just be this old dude walking down the road, never in a rush to get anywhere. Just
People
gradually
do
shuffling
that.
along.
There's a lot of videos like that of people like walking across like open world maps. There's like one on YouTube that I watched that was like this guy walking across like the entirety of Red Dead 2's map, like holding a cup of soup or some shit like that.
That does not sound fun.
It's pretty great. It also took like 16 hours or something.
Dude, you want to do that? Just do that in DayZ.
Yeah.
Frickin' forest walking simulator.
No, I'm excited for the new cards, man. I'm not really concerned about space. I use a full-size tower, so I'm not really concerned about space. And I did
You gonna-
some.
You're gonna need a new power unit.
I
Oh,
just bought a new. I just
Okay.
bought a new power supply like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but
that's,
you're like
that's the point that a lot of people are bringing up, that like you basically would put it in a new computer rather than upgrade to that card, because you're gonna need a new power supply. And
Yeah.
you need this many pins, connectors.
Yeah, I just bought.
You need the room in the tower to be able to house the battleship of a card you just bought.
Yeah, I got the
Wow, you gotta
Corsair
design a computer around it.
1600i AX or whatever the fuck it is, a 1600 watt Corsair, like titanium certified horse shit, modular. Yeah, I literally just bought one like less than a month ago, so it's like brand new too, so I don't see why it wouldn't be compatible. And they're also talking about in terms of like the 12-pin connector, there's a lot of speculation that the 12-pin connector is only going to be available on the Founders Edition of the cards. And even then, if you don't have a 12-pin connector, they're going to have an adapter for it, so you can
Okay.
just use it on 8 pins.
Because I remember I had that problem when I upgraded to a 970 long ago, and I had upgraded video cards before and never had to deal with that kind of stuff. So it was a bit of a shock to get the thing home, to unbox it, to realize I don't even have the connectors to get this thing going. So I had to like figure out how I'm going to get this thing, and I'm going to Micro Center. I'm like looking around, like how do I get this many pins? And they basically just said like, nope. But here, maybe if you talk to like this company in China, they'll make you one. And that's what I ended up doing.
They'll make a
that hurt?
Molex connector for you.
Well, I don't get into that shit though. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I know people who know their shit can do it. Can like mess around with their cords, but for
Yeah,
me,
I
I just needed the connector.
Yeah,
And
I don't need.
if you don't like, yeah, if you don't do that kind of stuff and you just need the right number of pins on the connector, you gotta like order it.
Yeah,
in
I'm.
another country.
I think the biggest concern that most people are having was a lot of the leaked pictures of what they were claiming was a 3090. It's fucking enormous. It's like 3 times as big as a 2080 Ti. It's got to be 4 or 5 inches longer than it in length.
Right.
But Nvidia has a dual fan system on it. They have a fan on the front and a fan on the back, because I believe there's actually a chip on the back of the card as well. Can't remember what it was exactly. I was reading about it the other day, but they have an additional cooling unit for the back of the card too.
So what are you hoping to get out of the 3090 because the 3070 and the lower models are coming out afterwards, right?
Yeah. What I'm hoping to get out of it is better ray tracing support. If you played any games with ray tracing, like Battlefield 5, it's just the current iterations of ray tracing are just very poor. DLSS was the technology that Nvidia was spinning when they were coming out with the RTX 2000 series, and they're like, it's basically a super sampling, and it improves performance, and it does all this shit. Right. So games that currently support ray tracing and DLSS, at least from my experience in them, like Battlefield 5, it looks like absolute shit. It's like it's a blurry mess, dude, and that's technically what DLSS is supposed to do. It's supposed to kind of upscale native resolutions, I believe, but they actually released a second iteration of DLSS 2.0, and the only game that I know that supports that is Death Stranding, and it's fucking phenomenal. It's probably one of the best console ports I've seen on PC, and DLSS 2.0 looks amazing. It's like a quantum leap from the shit that they were trying to push in Battlefield 5.
So it's more than upscaling resolution, you're saying, in Death Stranding?
Yeah, it's very close to native 4K. I play games in 4K, so that's the thing that I worry about is like.
Did you get a brand new 4K monitor?
Quality of 4K. No, I have some crap monitor I don't really care about, but.
Wait, but is it 4K resolution, or you up?
It is 4K.
Oh, it is 4K.
It is 4K. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of ways that people can kind of shoehorn 4K. The PlayStation does it with checkerboarding or whatever the hell that's called. That's kind of just like an upscaling process. But whatever they've done for the newest iteration of DLSS, it's very, very nice, and I'm actually very excited for games like Cyberpunk that are going to be supporting. That are going to be supporting 2.0, and they're actually, I'm pretty sure they're actually coming out with a third iteration of DLSS for the 3000 series cards too. So.
Well, I'm going to be playing that game on a projector, so that's out of the question for me. As somebody who plays on projectors, like if you got a 1080p projector, you can get one at an affordable price. If you want to go 4K gaming with a projector, forget it. It's just too much money for what that is. I mean, if you got the money, I guess. But so when exciting things come out, it doesn't really apply to me so much. You know what I mean? Like I want either the size, or I want 3D, and we're past that now. That's ancient history of people giving a shit about 3D. I'm either I got a pair of glasses or I got it projecting across an entire wall. So 4K, no.
I think that my primary concern, that's funny though, because my primary concern when I play games is playing games in 4K, because ever since I stopped playing games
You can't go back?
I can't go back. I just can't fucking go back.
That's what I thought originally about 3D. And then everyone stopped supporting it, and I adjusted again.
It's funny, because, like...
Left 4 Dead, I played in 3D for the first time. I thought, well, now I'm screwed. Now I'm never going to be able to enjoy this on a flat surface anymore.
I mean, are you talking about virtual reality?
Well, no, I'm just talking about, like Nvidia 3D Vision.
What?
Which is, like, really old now. But
well, I know that. That's,
at
those
the
old
time,
monitors.
when I first put those glasses on and I first played Left 4 Dead and I think a Tomb Raider game, I thought, yeah, there's no way I can go back to a regular monitor after this. And of course, that turned out to not be true, because once that technology was basically dropped by Nvidia and anybody else who was thinking of doing it, you didn't really have a choice anymore. Or, you know what, you can still do it. You can still use, like, your Nvidia 3D Vision goggles.
For the one game that supports it, it's Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, well, there's a very small number of games that are specifically made to support it, yes. And that's in the past.
Dude,
that's in the
I
past.
completely forgot about that fucking 3D.
Right?
Oh, Jesus Christ,
I bought it later than most people, too.
Yeah,
so
but the thing is that that was also
that was coming out when the televisions were transitioning into 3D. Yeah. And now it's just like, do you even see any television boasting about having 3D anymore? Like, who the fuck cares about 3D?
Well, no, I mean, all of the television manufacturers officially decided they weren't going to support it anymore. So I think even the 3D TVs that do support it, like, they don't consider that when they're pushing firmware patches or whatever they do with those. I'm not a big TV guy. I got computer monitors. I watch TV on those. But I understand what you mean. And the 3D TVs, which were like the thing that was being pushed for a while, technology-wise, by the powers that be, that died before it died for gaming, and it died for gaming so long ago.
It's pretty funny how, like, technology can just, like, so quickly phase itself out. I remember, like, the competition between Blu-ray and HD DVD.
Oh, that was fast. Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was very fast. Like, HD DVD just, like, got smoked, and then, like, everybody that bought an HD DVD player was like, well, fuck me then.
Yeah, which, you know, to their credit, if you were to pick a winner in that fight, you would probably pick the one with, like, that had HD in the title. Right? Like, the average consumer would go for the one that looks familiar. They're like, HD TVs and HD DVD. I don't know what
blue
is, but you know what? PlayStation has a big hand in that, though, because
I was about to say, like, PlayStation was like, we want to use Blu-rays, and they're like, okay, these are pretty cool.
But at the time, that wasn't that long from like the PSP and those little discs that they came out with.
The mini discs.
Yeah, they had their own something. They had their own name for those. They were basically debuting an entirely new format.
Holy shit!
It died.
Yeah, my friend.
They were trying to put movies on them and stuff.
My friend brought an HD DVD player, and to this day I still mention it to him. Like, so how's that investment going in that HD DVD player you bought?
Before that was like the laser stuff, right?
Laserdisc? Yeah.
Yeah, UMD, Universal Media Disc, was the PSP's
That's right.
little mini disc thing. And so, like, based on the failure of that, some people were probably looking at Blu-ray like, I don't know, Sony, your whole proprietary thing didn't really work out so well in 2004.
Some people still look for Blu-ray, don't they?
Oh yeah,
because it's still higher quality.
It's still it's way better.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty excited for the the Nvidia cards. What I really want to see is some decent improvement in ray tracing. I mean, ray tracing performance is like fucking unacceptable right now on PC. It's like it's the biggest performance hit, and you've got games like Cyberpunk coming out that have
That's
four
singular.
different
That's one game, dude.
that have 4 different processes of ray tracing in them. And you're like, I mean, most computers can't even handle one fucking process of ray tracing.
Wow.
That's great, but you know what? I bought a 1080 Ti. You know what I've been playing on it? RimWorld. I want to see games, man. I want to see games that are worth playing on the latest cutting edge technology. Because once upon a time, when a new video card came out, well, let me put it this way: once upon a time, when a new game came out, you bought that game, you played that game, you realized, oh wow, you know what? I better go buy a new card. I better go, not because the thing's poorly optimized, but just because like you realized this would look amazing. And so you get the card and you bring it home and you install the card and you boot the game up that you've already seen the old way. And the difference just blows your mind. And now today it's like, well, yeah, I'm really happy to hear that Battlefield 5 is supporting these technologies, but I'd have to play Battlefield 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of one of the caveats of these technologies. Is like, it's not supported by every single game.
Sound systems are like that too. Like, oh, what?
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
Bro, was that the hurricane?
Is that the? Oh, no, because usually that bumps him to the menu.
That was
the
that's a
experience
bug
of
right
death
there.
has not crashed the desktop.
Yeah, that's definitely a bug right there. Let me.
Should we stop talking about video game shit?
No, well, he's got to figure it out.
Well,
yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna stop recording for a second here.
The texture is loading in, so you can actually see like how it's like as it would scale as you were getting closer and closer to more and more detail.
Right. All right, we're recording now, and we are.
Okay.
We are.
Welcome
here.
back. Yeah.
All right. So Glenn was talking about how he was kind of disappointed with the selection of games that are showcasing all this fancy new technology.
Yeah,
and
you know what it feels like to me? I used to work at a video store, and people would buy like the latest television set, and they would buy the latest sound system, they would invest all this money into all this equipment, and then they come to the store and they'd be like, so you got any movies that really take advantage of this and this and this? And then I'm like, we got Lord of the Rings. Yeah, but I saw that already. I'm like, yeah, I know, but what you bought, that supports Lord of the Rings. And that's the only thing that does. So, you know, if you want to buy a movie, you shouldn't be judging it on that.
Okay, so my counter to that argument is, if you want to really see gaming at its best, you're definitely not going to find it on PC. You have to look at console games. That's where all the fucking money is going. That's where all the money is going, dude. It's the truth.
You really?
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely, man.
Is
All
this
the fucking
2006? What happened?
no, dude. It's consumer. There's a console in every fucking home, dude. Like,
Not mine.
well, you're the one guy that there's no console in.
I'm
Dude,
glad you
not
guys
mine.
didn't notice that I had to turn on the airplane mid-flight here.
That's where all the
Oh.
money's going, man. I mean, look at the
That's where all the
production
money-
value of all these
Then
AAA
tell me
titles.
this. Then tell me
that are
this.
coming out.
How come if consoles where it's at, then how come so many games now are coming out on PC, and companies that don't even want
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why that is. It's
because
because of crowdsourcing. It's because of things like Kickstarter. They're able to do that now because people are paying for it for them.
that's like a fraction of the market. I'm talking.
I don't
about
think that's a
shit
fraction
like
of the market.
Japanese arcade games like coming to PC. I'm talking about like Souls likes. I know, like they have to come out on PC, or you know, I mean, you
Look,
mentioned-
if games had to come out on PC, there'd be literally no reason to buy a fucking console.
there isn't. That's what I'm fucking saying.
No, there is. There's plenty of
if I
reasons
can
to buy
play,
consoles.
if I can play Tekken 7 on Steam, why do I need another thing in my house?
to play the games that aren't being released on PC exclusives.
I have a list of those games that I want to play. You want to hear it? Hold on, it's in this drawer. It's
You have a list. You have a list of console exclusive games.
Console exclusive games that
the list
will
must be very
probably
short.
make me buy. Yeah, it says Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's nothing on the back. It just says Spider-Man.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you 5? There's lots.
I buy consoles for fighting games, which are now releasing on PC. I buy them for Hideo Kojima games, which are now on PC.
Well, Kojima's
I buy them
always.
for Rockstar
always
games,
release
which
shit
okay,
on
I gotta
PC.
wait 9 months, and then it's on PC. Why do I need a console anymore? I guess I like wrestling games once upon a time, but I hear they all just suck now.
There's plenty of console exclusives on PS4.
Well, I don't play FIFA, sorry.
I don't play
Is that on
FIFA
PC
either.
too? What you know what like what are your cons because what are your console exclusives? Hit me with
Console exclusives: Ghost of Tsushima,
that.
God
Okay,
of War,
I'll give you that. I want to play that.
The Last of Us,
Sorry. Must be on the
Uncharted,
different one.
Bloodborne.
No, slow down, because I got to tell you, you're full of shit with each one. What's the second one?
Ghost of Tsushima,
That one I agreed with. That was the first one you mentioned.
God of War.
Never liked it.
I never
Never
liked
liked
it either, but the last one was fucking amazing.
I hear that, but I played halfway through the first game and I thought it was ass. So
I'm sure the first game looks like ass. That's your problem right there.
I played it when it didn't. Well, no, technically.
I don't
it
think
did.
there was ever a moment in time where the first game didn't look like ass.
That was like. So I understand, like the new one. People like the new one, but the
Yeah,
idea of
that's what I'm
the
talking
idea
about.
of
It's
running
fantastic.
around and hitting things. And yeah, they gave it more of a story now.
Wait a minute.
It's
Hold
about
on a second.
It's about fatherhood and ripping eyes out of monsters.
You're complaining about the concept of running around hitting things when you literally just told me you buy consoles for fucking fighting games.
Yeah, but then it's explicit.
What do you mean then it's explicit? What does that have to do with anything?
No, with a console, there's subtlety in fighting games.
There's no subtlety in fighting games. It's pretty
You can't
linear.
you can't just button mash and hope to get anywhere with that.
Okay, Uncharted, The Last of Us.
I played the first 2 Uncharted's and I thought they were fine.
Okay.
And
The last so far you're agreeing with me.
No, I said fine in a derogative way.
No, I mean so far
Like
you're,
I owned
you're pretty
the
much
console.
agreeing with me
Like
that there
I owned
are
a console and I played the game and I didn't dislike the game. That's not a reason to go out and pay for
Bloodborne.
a reason to go out and pay for a console is Metal Gear.
That's
When it's the only place you can get it.
no. That was what 2000.
Well, MGS4 was a reason to own a PS3, in my opinion, combined with a few other games. But
Okay, look, if you want to play an actual Metal Gear game, just play the Phantom Pain. Okay.
which came out on PC.
Right. Exactly, and you can skip the rest of them because that game's the only one that matters.
Oh, come on. The one with Kiefer Sutherland is the only one that matters.
I played every single Metal Gear game except Snake Eater, and I can
So have I.
I can safely say that fucking the Phantom Pain is the only one worth a shit.
Unbelievable.
So
I played them all except for like that MSX, like Metal Gear 2. Solid.
Revengeance?
No, that's not a game.
What, you don't want to play that? It's a fighting game, dude. I thought you liked fighting
It's
games.
not a fighting game. Fuck off. I'm talking about games like Tekken and Street Fighter and Virtua Fighter and.
What I'm saying is that games like those, that's where the money is going. These AAA companies that are releasing games on PC, they're all going straight to hell because they're held under a magnifying glass by the fucking public now, and it's like
God doesn't approve now.
every fucking thing they do now is just automatically discredited and automatically disliked. Like, look at fucking Blizzard. Everything Blizzard does now, people are just like, oh, fuck this, it's Blizzard.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking Blizzard is a PC game company that tanked because they care about their investors more than their customers.
That's Activision.
I'm just, well, yeah, same thing now.
I know it's the same thing, but prior to that, prior to being a subsidiary of Activision, it seemed like companies like Blizzard could come out with shit. They could literally shit on a plate, and the fans would love it. okay? But it's
For
like
a while,
now,
for a short period of time, every company goes through that, like Mass Effect.
I don't think so. I don't think anybody not to the extent of companies like Blizzard. I feel like the money is going into consoles because of the accessibility, man. Because of the fact that there's a console in every fucking household. And trust me, dude, I'm not sitting here trying to defend consoles and say they're superior. They absolutely are not. I prefer PC games. I've always preferred PC games.
No, we're just talking about the market.
For me to sit here and to say that the market isn't saturated with console games that are actually pretty fucking good, to say that's not true is a lie, because there are a lot of fucking good console games out there. Dude, I'm still playing Ghost of Tsushima. I've been playing it for like 3-4 straight weeks, dude. It's insane.
But are we just talking about the difference between the games that are just on because right now, like Microsoft Xbox games, I mean, they're pretty much PC games. It's one and the same.
What I am talking about is the once upon a time need to go out and pay $500 for a game console because there were certain games and certain experiences that you could only get on console, and they were some of the best games coming out in a given year.
Right.
And so
you
you
still
had
have that
to,
with
and
like
now,
The Last
and
of
now
Us.
today most of that comes to PC. Not all
Most
of
of
it,
it.
but most of it comes to PC.
So we're just talking about the fringe.
I don't
really.
There
I
aren't
don't-
enough exclusives to justify that purchase.
No, I don't think that's true, man. Because like everything that I ever buy on PS4 is an exclusive. If it's out on PC,
Yes,
it's
because you
it
don't have the
got
option to get it on PC.
No.
That's why.
No,
you bought it
because
for the
if it's
console.
out, no, that's not true. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Uh,
Horizon Zero Dawn is on
it's
PC
coming to
now.
PC.
It's
yes.
already on PC.
Yeah, it took a little longer with that one, but now it's on PC.
I mean, I'd probably. Dude, trust me. If these games were coming out on PC and I was guaranteed they were coming out on PC, I'd have no fucking reason to ever buy a console. But the reality is, there's tons of good games out there that don't come to PC, and it does justify the investment.
But they eventually come to PC.
No, they don't.
Most of them.
Most of them. Most
they
of them
don't.
do. Most the good ones.
That's not necessarily true. There's tons of good ones that aren't coming out on PC. The original Red Dead never came out on PC. Remember how fucking long they speculated that was going to come out on PC
I know,
for?
but
then now that was then, and this is now.
I'm just
you're talking about
saying-
the fucking mid 2000s or whatever. When
right.
is
I think they're
anything
changing
happening
it
with
now.
the flying of the plane right now? Because I'm not seeing any movement.
There is.
There is. I just for
your
some
stream
reason, I think my stream just cut out. But whatever. Anyway, the Red Dead 2 came to PC. That's the difference of today.
And
to
you want to know the
long
truth,
ago.
dude?
I'm gonna stream it again here. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna grab something real quick. You want to edit this part out?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. I know we were in the thick of it too. It fucking sucks that this is happening.
Well, I just hope we don't die right now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear you very well. Dude, what is going on with my fucking plane right now? I'm keeping all this in, by the way.
Matt, you fly like Muhammad Atta.
Oh god. Yeah, dude, this is definitely a hurricane right now.
It just looks like gray.
Yeah, it's a hurricane.
Hurricanes are gray.
I don't know, man. Still not selling me a flight sim.
I would say from a visual perspective, this is definitely the most boring episode.
Where's the
and that's not on us. That's on Microsoft right now. Like I wanted to see cows flying by the screen. I wanted to see like lightning in the clouds. Yeah, I was excited. I was excited about this.
Yeah, this just looks like a rainstorm to me.
This is just it is. That's what it is. But
well, they did.
It doesn't look like anything more than a rainstorm.
I'm surprised that there's no lightning right now because I did see lightning in previous flights, but yeah, right now it's just really annoying to fly through.
Are you streaming again?
I am streaming.
Yeah. There's not
a
lot of turbulence or anything.
I can sit here and I can justify my investment for buying a console.
Wouldn't the lights be flickering in the plane and like a bird hits the window and dies? Like, wouldn't there be things happening right now?
Yeah,
that sounds like a tornado.
Okay, maybe it's a different game I want then.
You're thinking of Twister with Bill Paxton.
I think I think he's thinking about Wizard of Oz right now.
I would go for a monkey if we could get a monkey in this.
I mean, the plane is not easy to fly right now. It's definitely.
Okay, so from a player perspective, you're actually struggling. Because from a viewer perspective, it doesn't look like you're having
I can't tell if it's from the bugs or from the. I can't tell what's going on right now.
Maybe the hurricane is just to mask the fact that they realized Missouri doesn't work in the game. Like you can't fly through Missouri without bug issues, so let's just have like a hurricane event.
I think the game can handle literally feeding you like actual simulator type
Matt,
shit
it's
right
your
now.
computer. It's sorry, it's your computer.
Fantastic! Wow.
How dare you, Cullen?
It's not the
audience just cut in half.
It's not the fucking game. It's your fucking computer.
Is that Microsoft's official marketing pitch?
That is. They were like, Matt, your computer's old as shit.
Oh, I'm sure they'll use that as an excuse.
They will.
A developer has responded to this comment. It's your fucking computer.
Exactly.
So Cullen, what was your point before we trash my computer any further?
He was trying to sell console exclusivity as still being relevant.
It is. Because there's still plenty of
I
games
thought it
that
was
come out.
more. I was gonna get one to play.
Here's the
sports
thing.
games.
Here's the thing. Take a look at the big titles that recently came out. Red Dead Redemption 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn, both ported over to PC, and both probably two of the worst ports I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. The point is,
Red Dead runs fine.
yeah, now it does, Matt. It's been out for over a year.
Yeah, I know, it's annoying.
And
a while.
when it first came out, it was awful. Awful. I never encountered any of those fucking problems on their PS4 equivalents. And the reality is these developers don't give a shit about PC. The only reason they release these things on PC is because they're sick of hearing people bitch about it. So what they do is they force it out the door, and they don't give a fuck about the condition of it. They don't give a fuck about the optimization.
How do you think the PC game developers feel when they find out they have to literally gut everything because it won't run on a fucking console?
How many PC exclusive games have gone to console? Is
Like
that where
all
you're...
of them since the mid 2000s. I mean, it's back now. There are more PC exclusives now, but between like the mid 2000s to like, I don't know, 2012 or something, like every game had to be on console. And generally speaking, multi-platform is still expected from publishers.
I'm sure the developers
So a lot of
think about it at
developers
all.
no, they do, because they fucking complain about it all the time. You can even find it in the code. They're like, we had to take this out because of fucking consoles. Because
Okay.
we can't. Our game is not made for fucking consoles, but now we have to release on consoles. So let's just start slicing shit out, and then we'll release multi-platform in a compromised state because we have
But
to.
that exact
appeal-
same
we
scenario,
have to be on the
that
fucking
exact-
Xbox.
that exact same scenario can happen, except
The other way around.
the other way around, dude. Like, look at Red Dead, look at fucking Horizon. They're fucking awful ports, and the only reason those games came out on PC is because the developers were fucking tired of listening to people every single day being like, put this out on PC, put this out on PC. So then it finally comes out on PC, and they're like, fine, here,
You
it's out
think-
on
you
PC,
think
and
the
it's a
audience
total
is
piece of
motivating
shit.
that? You think the audience is motivating that? I think it's the publishers saying, you know what, people are buying PC games now.
No, I
They
think
don't care anymore.
I don't think they ever honestly cared about fucking making PC equivalents to these games. If they truly gave a shit about making a PC equivalent of these games, why the fuck wouldn't they announce it at the time of the announcement of the game? Why wouldn't they be like, hey, it's coming out on PS4 and PC, instead of fucking 2 years later being like, we'll release it on
Those
PC.
announcements are for the investors, they're not for the players.
So why would the investors give a shit about what platform it comes out on?
Because that's what they've heard of. They're
They
still in
haven't heard of
2006.
computers.
They're still in 2006. They play it. They think everybody plays on a Nintendo.
They haven't heard of
Well,
computers.
They mean PlayStation, but they don't know that. They just call it a Nintendo.
No, I think
That's the
I think
word for game console.
I think the reason that they do it is because of community backlash. I think I don't think it has anything to
I
do
don't
with.
think they give a shit about the backlash. I think they look at the sales of a few games that have come out on PC that weren't traditionally PC games, and they were like, "Whoa, you can sell these games on PC? Like the PC game audience actually wants them? Fine then. If we're gonna make all that money on PC, we're gonna have to make a PC version for things like Tekken." You know, nobody thought. Well, also netcode getting.
I
better.
think it would be irresponsible for that to be the reason for them to be like, oh, we as developers.
Money would be the irresponsible thing.
No. Being like, we literally don't give a shit about what the community thinks. That's the irresponsible thing.
How many companies do?
And you can't realistically sit here and
Developers
say
do.
that that's a
They're not the
developer mindset when there's plenty of developers out there that do care about what
Developers
people
aren't making
think.
these decisions. It's publishers.
But you're telling me that
Not-
they don't
not
give a shit about
Kickstarter
people.
backers. It's publishers we're talking about, not Kickstarter backers.
I'm not talking about Kickstarter backers.
Now,
I mean,
my point is the devs themselves don't always. I mean, they don't have a choice. It's if they want to get that contract, they're going to have multi-platform. Why? Because they can make more money that way.
I understand that, but it doesn't make sense for you to be like, oh, the developers are just automatically discrediting everything that the community says and everything the community wants, because I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's lots of developers that do take these things seriously and do take feedback seriously.
Yeah, no, you're putting words in my mouth. I think the developers absolutely care what the community thinks. I think it's out of their hands a lot of the time.
But you just said the developers don't give a shit about what people think.
Well, okay,
That was
if
literally
I
your
said-
exact
if
words.
I said those exact words, then what I meant was publishers.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Well, the point is
Consoles
like
are irrelevant. That's all I'm saying.
my opinion is that
I don't get
feel
excited
like
about E3 anymore. I don't get excited about any of that shit because
that's because
they're selling to an audience that
you're jaded and
it's last decade's audience they're selling to. And investors
yeah, but like
also
I feel
tend
like
to behind
I
it.
don't know you that well, but I feel like your choice in video games is like your selection of video games.
I'm sorry,
that you
which Battlefield are you playing right now?
me.
You're gonna criticize my choice in video games?
I'm not criticizing your choice of video games. I'm saying it's a very narrow selection. And I'm playing Battlefield 5. Thank you. The one that has the RTX technology that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work well. Doesn't look
No.
good, right? Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I got as far as Battlefield 4, and I bought Battlefield 1, but I didn't really get into it. This new shit, I don't know.
That's sad because Battlefield 1 was one of the best ones.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, from what I understand, I think I was in the process of upgrading my computer, and I bought it before I even owned the computer that could run it well. And then once I finally bought that computer, I didn't care anymore. But my point is that, like, the Battlefield series, I've been there all along, you know, through all of them. And Battlefield 5.
Wait, you've been there how? Meaning what? Like you've just paid attention to them, or you've bought all of them?
Emotionally.
I bought all of them. I played all of them. I'm a Battlefield fan. I'm an ex-Battlefield fan.
Dude, bad company too, bro.
It's still possible to win me back to that series, but the way that that Star Wars has turned out and Battlefield 5 has turned out, it's starting to feel like another Blizzard to me, where they're just going their own way now. And
so what do you think would like ideally win you back as a Battlefield fan?
Say that again?
What do you think would win you back as a Battlefield fan?
Apologizing for Punkbuster.
Apologizing for Punkbuster? A move they made in like 2002?
Yes.
Well, if you can find any of the development team still there from that time period,
I think they still use it. Do they?
I'd be hard. I don't think
Do they still
Punkbuster is Punkbuster even a thing anymore.
They used it in Battlefield 1, dude.
Is
They
it
were
still a thing?
using Punkbuster.
Really? I didn't even know that. I thought that died with GameSpy.
Well, look, I have transitioned to a more versatile player than to single player experiences, generally speaking, because of things like cheat hacks. I mean, I played PUBG and I immediately regretted it. And there are a lot of other games that like I hear about and I'm like, all right, you know what? It's been a long time since I've played a multiplayer game. I'll give this a shot. And then I realize, oh no, it's a shit show. It's just the toxic community and Chinese hackers. So
I gravitate towards that ideology as well. Like I play mostly single player games. I mean, and it doesn't have very much to do with hackers. It has more to do with immersion, and I mean, I generally find that most single player games are just better than multiplayer games in terms of like appeal and quality. Like I'm not going to be shooting the same guy 50 billion fucking times in single player, I feel like, and him swearing at me and telling me to fuck my mother.
yeah. Well, PUBG was very, very racist, and I don't get upset easily, but when you have to listen to that stuff before every match,
The players are racist?
surprise.
I think all first-person shooters have like a plague of racist players, and I don't even really understand what it is that draws them to it.
You want to know where it started?
Where? Counter-Strike.
Xbox.
Xbox?
Yeah, once
Yes.
once first-person shooters started appearing on consoles, that's when the racists came in. Because you had like 14-year-old douchebags logging on and being edgy, and I'm not going to blame them console players for the state of things now, because now things are coming from a lot of different directions on the subject of race. But I mean, PUBG wasn't on consoles right away, and that certainly suffered.
It's funny because like a lot of people will mention that like, oh, this game has a toxic community, this game has a toxic community.
Yeah.
I can't honestly sit here and tell you any game that I've ever played online that's had a non-toxic community. I can't.
Oh, really?
I can't.
Yeah. I very rarely came. You have to go for like smaller games. That's the problem. Because once they get popular, like even Left 4 Dead now, I hear is one of the worst ones. And I didn't have those experiences when I played the Left 4 Dead games, because
I think
was
the worst
playing them
shit.
before that happened.
Worst shit I saw was fucking League of Legends was the worst.
I imagine that would be a bad one. See,
Yeah, it was terrible.
Once you get to a certain level of popularity, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well,
I wonder why that is.
com-
Like, what
competition.
happens to like?
And also, if they're free to play, wasn't League of Legends like free to play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but like
anybody, who cares if you get banned? I mean, or who cares if you just stop playing, because it's free. Nobody cares.
Dude, you want to talk about
you
toxic,
can't-
you should talk about Rust. That's
Okay,
infuriating.
you want to talk about
dude,
Rust?
I love Rust though.
I do too.
Tell us about your Rust experiences. Do you have any like good stories from Rust? Because the
Me?
people who play that game, they have stories like EVE Online stories. They're like, oh my god, this thing happened.
I
Do
mean,
you have any Rust stories?
I've been just dying repeatedly before even being able to build one thing, or building one thing and then just dying.
or like getting shot by somebody and then you hear them on their mic telling you to get good, and you're just like, okay, thanks,
Is that
mister.
the censored version?
You had an AR-15 and I had a bow and arrow.
Exactly.
I'm glad you killed
and
me.
And these nuts.
Those are the
Bow and arrow
because
and
you know
nuts.
League. If I'm not doing well in League, like who cares? Like they can go fuck themselves. Like you could just ignore them. But games like Rust, dude. I mean, you could barely like even function on any server there that they force you to play on.
No, the thing with Rust that I
Can't
liked
have a
about
private
Rust.
server on Rust?
No, you can't have private servers on Rust. The thing that I liked about it that
You have to pay for them.
everybody fucking hates about it is the fact that the players are fucking insane. That's the only thing that made me gravitate towards that game, was because I couldn't take it seriously. Like, I wasn't playing Rust to be like, for like a serious gamer moment. I was playing Rust because people were fucking insane, and I wanted to witness that.
Right.
And that's the only reason people play it. Is because if you want to see humanity at its fucking worst, you play games like Rust.
Right. Well, I mean, you were actually entertained by that.
Yeah, I was actually, and that was the that was one of the. I mean, I couldn't even really tell you anything about the game itself, other
I just
than
think it's funny that you're talking about how you didn't get to have a somber, serious experience in a game from the creators of Gary's mod.
no, I didn't. I know it's shocking, isn't it? Is that made by the people who made Gary's mod? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Did we enter the eye of the storm here? Look at this.
I don't know, but I got disconnected for a little bit there. Now I'm back.
I just
Hello.
reconnected you guys, and I'm in the middle of.
Oh, we all
like-
got bounced? Okay, I thought that was just me, so
No, I tried when you said that you got disconnected. I reconnected us, but do you see the stream right now?
I didn't know if you could hear me because I couldn't. I see the screen now. I see trees for the first time in an hour.
Yep, and it looks like we're in the middle of something.
Are we in the eye?
That's what I thought, but I don't know. I mean,
Is this the eye?
What's the eye? What does the eye look like?
this.
It's quiet.
Seems
Well-
pretty nice, actually.
But things weren't particularly loud before us.
Do you see the stutter, like the jerky movements up and down my plane does? That's not me. I don't know what this game does, but it does that. It's freaking annoying.
That's
see
called
it.
wind, Matt.
Yeah, I see the plane moving up and down a bit. I wouldn't call it turbulence. or
Like that.
anything like
What is that? What is that?
Could be lag. Is this online?
Yeah, it's all online. Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
It could be lag. Yeah, I mean, I liked
It's rendering every raindrop.
I liked Rust for the reasons that people hated it. That was the only game that I liked because I couldn't take it seriously. It's not a game like I don't think Rust was ever intended to be taken seriously because there's no real objective to Rust. If you have a game that's objective based, like a MOBA of some sort like that, and people are getting genuinely competitive over it and being fucking shitty about it.
There is an objective. You want to survive and build a base, at least have a chance to build a base.
Yeah, that's not really an objective.
wanna-
Like the objective is to outlive yourself, basically. To live longer than you did in a previous.
Survival game.
Yeah.
You want to be able to get to a point where certain things like
Well,
hunger and thirst
here-
don't matter to you anymore. But
Here's the
problem-
problem. But
The
here's
thing is when you have a game where that is strictly objective based, like a MOBA or something like that, people are fucking shocked when they find out that the community is fucking terrible.
But here's
And
the
it's
problem here's the problem with Rust, Cullen, is that the difference between that and like DayZ or something else is that the players have already been playing nonstop on the. You know how they recycle the servers and then they have you start over again, and people have already had
they wipe them.
They wipe them. They had a head start on you. You jump in a server that's just fucking ass blasted with like bases all over the place. You can't get one thing in. You can't get a base in unless you start from the beginning with everyone else.
Yeah, I know. There's like that gap where like people have definitely progressed longer than you, but you know, it's like games like Rust, like you're not expected to survive very long, man, because people are just inherently shitty. And they play these games to be inherently shitty. And I don't think there's anybody that actually plays these games that isn't aware of the fact that everybody else is playing the game strictly to be inherently shitty.
Oh, I think there are people now who, you know, after the initial wave, get into them hoping for something different and don't realize that's what's going on. I mean, look at Subnautica. A lot of people jumped on board the survival craft thing with Subnautica, and that's a very like chill out, relaxed, immersion based experience, single player experience. And they're like, oh well, I loved Subnautica so much. Like this is now my favorite genre ever. What do I got? What do I got? I got Ark, Survival of all.
Now we can throw people into the mix.
Rust. Because I'll see somebody like off in the distance, on the horizon, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, it's another human being! Hello,
That's the mistake
hello
you make.
out there."
You
That's
can't
the mistake
play.
the developer makes. The developer thinks in his head, like, "Wouldn't that be amazing? You were alone in the wilderness, and then you see another player way out there, and he's just like you, and now you're dead because he had a pistol in his hand, and you could only see him
He had a
through the
machine gun.
Yeah. I think
But-
my favorite Rust story is probably when I was playing on a server and I just started on that server, so I was literally naked. And I
Yeah.
had
It's got that Age of Conan. I can see your titties.
Yeah, like I can see your dick. I'm a black guy for some fucking reason in the game. You have no control over like your character in the game. It's just randomized.
Sounds like an advantage to me.
And actually, it is pretty cool. I actually did kind of like that because like people weren't trying to make supermodels, and a lot of people were forced to play with archetypes they probably wouldn't typically make in the character
Guild
creator.
Wars 2. That's for another day.
No,
But I
wouldn't even. I'd accuse like Korean MMOs of that more than anything.
I don't know, dude. Have you seen Guild Wars 2? How they especially the women, the female models?
Have you seen Black Desert Online?
They're similar, dude.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got.
I only played Guild Wars for a little while, but that's another.
Dude,
and it was terrible, right?
Yeah. Actually, that was my feeling. But this
Thank you.
This was a long time ago. So.
How dare you?
No, so I was like, I just started on the server and I was fucking naked, and like one of the first things you craft in that game is a bow. And I remember it was fucking night, and if you ever played Rust, you know night is fucking pitch black. Like you can't see shit.
Yeah,
like,
if you don't have like a torch, you can't.
You don't have a torch or anything. You can't see like your hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
And I just made a bow, and I'm literally butt naked running around, and I hear this guy, and I blindly took a shot in his direction, and I heard him over the mic like, "No, you bitch!"
I'm not going to get too much into this, but I actually started a little company called Accidental Headshot because of an experience like that.
It was literally my favorite Rust moment.
I got scared, my fingers slipped, it clicked on the mouse, boom, headshot. I was like, what?
That's fucking great, dude.
I didn't have time for
this guy was like so mad at me. He's like,
Yeah.
"No, you bitch!" And there's like the VoIP in like proximity. You can like hear people on their mic like within a certain proximity. It was like the funniest shit ever.
You can hear their cock flapping up against their thigh, or like coming down the hill at you with a makeshift spear.
That's the that's the rush that I try to get in video games.
That's the story. Well, I was hoping you had something more in depth than that, because that's
No.
I feel like the Rust players all have that memorable experience of like the naked tribal coming at you. But I also feel like it's a game like Eve where some people have stories about these amazing things that happened among the community and things like that, but they're kind of leaving out like the 6 months in between where nothing happened.
Or the 6 months in between that's just like pure trolling on everybody's part.
Yeah.
Like if you go and you look up any Rust videos on YouTube, it's literally like, "We rob a guild of their entire base." It's just like people being inherently shitty.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, "I meet like the most foul-mouthed child in the world," or some shit like that.
It's the game you imagine you really want in high school, the one that's like a persistent world that never shuts off, because you don't sleep, so why should the game? But then when you actually play that game as an adult, it's like, so if I ever log off, I lose everything. That's the game. Great.
That's the game.
All right, guys.
But it has a really big cheat hack problem too, doesn't it?
I don't know actually.
That's
I
the
don't
number one complaint I've heard about it.
I don't remember ever encountering any
That's like every
cheaters.
day.
Like,
Well, yeah, but I mean, it is like every multiplayer game nowadays. But that one, I would say, more than some others, it seems to be something they're not trying too hard to solve. It's just part of the experience.
no, I feel like a lot of first-person shooters are like that. They've just kind of given in to the cheaters. They're just like, well, there's nothing we can really do about them. I mean,
some of them have gotten better about it.
I've literally seen videos of cheaters
Sure,
being
but-
kicked out of like fucking tournaments, like hosted by developers, like
Oh yeah, that
like
happens
Destiny and shit like that. Like, we booted a cheater in the middle of this tournament. Like, Jesus Christ! Like, they got that far. Like,
too. Yeah. Wow. They have PvE servers in Rust now.
yeah, I played on a couple of those, and it was a little bit more enjoyable because people were
Oh, wow.
actually working together.
That's good to hear, because I like
Oh,
in
I'd be
concept.
interested in that.
Yeah, in concept, I like the idea of that. That to me, as somebody who was on a PvP server in World of Warcraft, to me, hearing that the PvE servers are coming to a game that has these kinds of issues says to me, well, maybe now's the time to jump on. Maybe I
Yeah.
can finally play Rust.
I played
when
on
it
a
comes to
PvE
people's-
server for a long time, actually, and I
it
really
was
liked
good?
it. Yeah, I really liked it actually. I mean, it's like the only problem with it is it's Rust. It's fucking myopic, and it's like part of the excitement of Rust is competing with other people.
That's
You
what I was
know.
worried about, because if everybody's story is about their player interactions, how much do you lose in translation by...
You lose a lot. You lose a lot, but it's a lot more like a relaxed experience. It's like the only real danger to you is the NPCs and the environment and shit like that. You don't have to worry about people killing you and stuff. And I did play on a PvE server for a little while, and it actually was fairly enjoyable. But it's just like you kind of reach a plateau where you're like, oh, I've built everything and I've found all the guns and shit like that. It's like, now what? I don't have anyone to use these guns on. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that can't be that enjoyable after a while.
yeah. After a while, it does get kind of
So
like.
would you or wouldn't you recommend Rust to newcomers who have stayed away from the
Absolutely
game?
not.
They've heard about
Yeah.
the PvP.
No,
and they
I
don't
would
want to
absolutely
do that
not.
shit.
I would absolutely not recommend it to newcomers because it's not the
Who are
type
specifically interested in PvE?
Who are
No.
specifically interested in PvE? Absolutely not. I mean,
No.
if you're going into that game thinking that like people are going to work with you and you're going to have support from other people, like you're just wrong. It's never going to happen unless you play on a fucking PvE server. You can play on a PvE server if you were a new player and you were playing on a PvE server. The experience is vastly different, but it's
But not enough to buy the game.
not enough to be like to invest any real time into it, to be like, oh, well, because like part of the
And you
excitement
would have
for me,
to, right?
right.
Like it takes forever to do anything in that game. So
Yeah, part of the excitement for me was the competition against other people, but it's like the competition itself gets
stale pretty quick because it's like it's funny the first time you get killed by a guy with a rifle and you've only got like a fucking bow or some shit like that. But like the 30th time, you're like, come on, man! Like I'm just trying to fucking do shit. Like I don't even pose a
Yeah.
threat to you. Like,
Yeah, this is why I play single player games.
yeah, no, dude, I love single player games and
But I love.
I prefer them.
I
over,
fell in love with Subnautica, so now I'm,
Yeah.
you know, and especially now, like with the pandemic happening and everything like that, I've been looking a lot more into co-op experiences, and so I've been looking at like, I don't know, 12 open world survival craft games as optional things to do with friends.
there's one that just came out today that kind of had
my interest, but I was reading some of the reviews that it's called
Oh.
Windbound.
Yeah, is that one of those?
It's kind of like a Breath of the Wild survival type game.
Okay.
And it looked
that's-
fairly interesting, but I was reading the reviews on Steam, and it doesn't look like it's doing too. It literally, I think, just came out today.
What is the game called?
Windbound.
Windbound.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel
I've
like
never
it's
heard of
probably. Yeah, I haven't either. Actually, for a moment, I thought he was talking about like Spiritfarer or whatever that.
I thought he was talking about Warwind.
That's a boat game, right?
Somebody else knows
Warwind.
Warwind. Somebody else. It wasn't a war. No, dude, that Warcraft 3 was a Warwind clone. Fuck that.
So guys, we landed.
We landed. That's it.
Yeah, we survived the storm, so that was
Yeah, it was not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. The storm. It was a good conversation, but
we saw it firsthand. We saw if it was gonna be.
We did.
If it was gonna be all that it was gonna turned out that people were saying, and it definitely wasn't. So that's fine.
How much you want to bet Fox News right now is like Hurricane Laura has already claimed the lives of 3 human beings.
Tucker Carlson has
And
more.
meanwhile, COVID is like, well, I mean, you've got like a fraction of a chance of dying. I want all the people who aren't afraid of a national or global pandemic who are living in Missouri right now to open your doors and go for a run. Chances of dying of a disease are much higher than dying from that hurricane.
Evidently.
Just go for a jog, and then, you know, maybe we don't need to hear from you ever again because you're gone now. So maybe that's insensitive, but I bet 3 deaths or 6 deaths are going to be like a national news story because of this hurricane from a lot of
Absolutely.
networks that are otherwise downplaying the idea of 1,000 people dying per day from a pandemic.
That's I like how Glenn hits us with that right when we land.
You know what? That was depressing. I'm gonna go shoot myself now.
Okay, so Cullen won't be on the next episode.
Not the next one, no.
I won't be.
If you
I'll
want
be
to,
on
man.
every
What were you gonna
episode.
do? Shoot yourself in the foot?
Oh,
Shit, man! I wanted to talk to Glenn about Subnautica.
well, let's do that. We could do that in like a day or two weekend, whenever you guys want. We could do that again. It's not like
That's a little tease for a future.
All right,
Cullen episode.
Subnautica. All right.
Open world survival craft.
And you guys can all sit here and listen to this and be like, "There's that console jackass," and I'm going to be like, "That's not me. I just think that's where the money's going." And
No.
Glenn disagrees.
No, your character is now set in stone. That's who the audience thinks you are now.
yeah, Subnautica. I'd like to talk about Cyberpunk because Glenn has done a lot of homework on that, and
I'm very excited about Cyberpunk also.
so
Well,
that's-
my Cyberpunk is one of those things where I don't need to look into it much because I'm going to buy it.
Yeah,
What
you're
I
a big
meant-
Shadowrun fan, right? That's
well,
that's a
I was making a mod for Shadowrun, so I ended up doing a ton of research just on the genre itself.
Are you still-
That's what I mean by I can talk cyberpunk. I mean the genre.
Are you still doing that mod? Are you still producing that, or?
Are we recording?
we are recording.
I'm not going to talk about my projects while we're recording.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh. Colin, you hit some classified...
That was mysterious.
That was very mysterious. All right, well, the next episode will be Glenn's talking about his classified project. But we'll say... we'll save a lot of that stuff because I just turned off the airplane, so you guys need to get the fuck out of it. But yeah, we'll find a flight route that might be more interesting next time.
Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe one to hell or something, because this is fucking boring to watch.
It's still gonna be flying something. We'll fly to your hometown, Colin. How about that?
Yeah, can you actually go somewhere that we, like, recognize?
Well, I mean, America is about the closest thing to hell that we've got right now in real-world simulations. So,
Well, I want him to fly over my house and bomb this place because I fucking hate it.
All right,
can
let's
do
do that
Alright.
next time. Let's do that.
Yep.
I'll strap some bombs to the Cessna.
All right. Sounds good.
hope you enjoyed the gray clouds of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
That was Hurricane Laura. Hope you enjoyed it.
And the occasional crash because of Matt's potato computer.
And these are the friendly skies,
Podcast.
which are not always so friendly.
That's right.
That's the topic of consoles.
How often do you do How often do you do this thing anyway?
We just started.
We just started, but we do it whenever you want to just jump on and we do it.
All right.
Are we now officially just talking?
Well, let me just say
Goodbye, everybody.
goodbye, everyone. So,
Yeah, goodbye.